Yo 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 what's going on, guys? It's I'm back to bring you another Pokemon video. This is actually gonna be a prior battle I had against Lord Scottish, and how we met we met on Smolga's tournament for $500 grand prize. This is for Gen 5 double OU, something that I am not familiar with. So even in Gen 5 I'm not familiar with that. With double, I'm not even familiar with that either. So we're just gonna see how this plays out. I will tell you that this team, it's not credit to me, it's credit to whoever made it. But I found it in the sample team on Smogan because I got lazy and I didn't want to make my own team. And basically I was running out of time. We had to battle that day, and yeah, I couldn't drag it any longer. Anyways, let's just hop into this battle. As you can see from my opponent has a completely rain-inducing team. So he got the Polito, the Kingdra, the Rotom, and he got Sizer, which is a great addition because obviously any fire moves on him wouldn't necessarily kill him because he's utilizing the rain. And he got Hypnotile, which could be annoying with Intimidate and Fake Out, and his kill him. And also you could possibly Rapid Spin as well, so his kill him won't take too much from rocks. So I think this is a pretty standard great team. And I have my own team. My team doesn't even make sense. But whoever made it obviously made it for a reason, so it should work. But basically I have Abomasnow and I have Hydreigon, which is not coincidence, even though Hydreigon is one of my favorite Pokemon. And then you have like 4 different Pokemon that are pretty powerful as well. So let's just hop into it. So let's just play. I'm gonna break down exactly what my thought process is and everything. Let me just load the volume. As basically he goes into his Code Red and his Voltage, which is his Sizer and Kingdra. I go into my Abomasnow and my Hydreigon. Here I'm gonna pause here because I actually knew he was gonna switch into his Polito, and the reason why is because first of all, he doesn't know if my Abomasnow is Focus Sash. My Abomasnow could very well be carrying Hidden Power 5 for all he knows. Also, Hydreigon is obviously a Pokemon that can potentially carry Flamethrower or Fire Blast, so obviously that's a threat. And because his Kingdra doesn't have the rain, he cannot utilize the Swift Swim. So obviously for him, he either have to switch out Kingdra or Protect, and most likely Protect because Hydreigon could be faster and could go for Draco on his Kingdra. So the best way for him to utilize it is to switch out his Polito. Switch out his Sizer into his Polito, so that way if I go for Fire Blast Flamethrower, it wouldn't do anything to the Polito. Polito will also be in so that Kingdra could utilize the ability Swift Swim and be able to outspeed my Hydreigon next turn. So I decided to kind of predict that and think about the scenario. I decided to go for a Abomasnow Giga Drain, which will to his Sizer. And in case his Sizer won't stay in, I'll also go for Hydreigon Fire Blast just to hit his Sizer. Like I said, if he decides to stay in. If he decides to switch out, I catch his Polito with the Giga Drain, and I'll obviously do nothing to his Polito with Fire Blast. So as you see, I do the second play, which is Giga Drain, catching his Giga Drain on his Polito. Boom, does more than half, and I obviously fire off the Fire Blast just in case the Sizer decides to stay in, which it does nothing to Polito. And as expected, his Kingdra decides to Protect. So here I know his Kingdra is going to go for Draco Meteor on my Hydreigon, so I decide to Protect here. And I bring out Gyarados because Gyarados could take whatever Surf, Skull, whatever he wants to do. But he decided to Protect with his Polito, which is great, I guess, because now I could freely switch in my Gyarados like it's nothing. Here I decided to switch out, and he knows this. That's why he's going to continue going for Draco Meteor, because obviously all my guys are affected by Draco Meteor. But obviously the guy that's least that can basically tank a Draco Meteor would be my Betacross. But as you see here, I actually don't take that Draco very well. I decided to switch out my Gyarados into my Abomasnow because obviously I do want to get the hell up, and his Polito can't do anything to my Gyarados or Abomasnow, so it was a great switch in. He decided to double switch his own Polito into his Hypnotop, so he's able to get Intimidate off. As you'll see, the Draco Meteor, like I said, does a lot. So I'm actually at this point expecting him to be Specs without doing any calculations. But here, I think he goes for fake out on one of my guys. So I'm thinking he's gonna go fake out on my bomb snow. So I decide to switch out into my Gyarados just to get Intimidator off, in case he wants to do that. And obviously fake out won't do much to my Gyarados, but he decided to make the smart decision and go for fake out on my Metagross, because I was actually gonna go for a Zen Head, but with choice, I mean not choice, it was Life Orb. He decided to switch out his Kingdra here after a -2 Draco Meteor and decided to go into his Sizer, which is a fair play as well. I decided to switch out my Metagross here to go into Infernape. I actually did not expect him on top to go for Sucker Punch. The reason why I switched into my Infernape is because one, his Sizer, I didn't want his Sizer to go for a Sword Dance, and I think also because why else would I do it? Actually, I'm not even sure. Yeah, I think it's because of Sizer. I was afraid he's gonna go for a Sword Dance. But here I decided to go for Waterfall in his Conk, and that did a lot. So I know he's more special defensive than defensive. His Cold Red was able to Bug Bite and take out the Citrus Berry, so that was a good fair play as well. Here, I think I make it switch out into Thunderous in case he wants to go for like another Bug Bite or something like that. This guy goes for Live Wire, and this guy goes for Fiat, and that does a lot to my Thunderous. As I just go for a close combat on his to finish off his Hammer Top, and he actually brings a Live Wire, and that did a lot. So that tells me this guy must be Specs, Scarf, I don't know, because it didn't show, or Chesto, Resto Berry or something like that, because that did way too much. Even though I have Life Whip. But here he decided to switch out both his mons into his Power Tool and his Kyurem respectively, as I actually go for U-turn on his Rotom, and catches his Power Tool. I should have went for Thunderbolt there. But anyways, I go for Overheat here on his Sizer, thinking this time Sizer will stay in. But he actually brings Kyurem, and that did a lot. That Overheat did a lot. So here I bring up my Bomb Snow, and I switch out my Infernape to go into Metagross, just at default at this point. I don't really need him since I did so much to his Kyurem already. And here I go for Blizzard, expecting it to kill both of his mines, but his Kyurem lived with just a sliver, and same with Polito. And Polito was able to fire off a Skull, luckily no burn. Not that it matters, but Hail actually takes him out. So at this point I win the weather-inducing war. So I go into Hydreigon here as he goes into his Hitmontop. His Hitmontop I'm expecting to will go for his fake out on my Hydreigon. So I decided to go into my Gyarados and go for Intimidate on him. But he decided to go for White Ghost, so basically protect both his mind from the Blizzard, and he's able to go for free Outrage on my incoming Gyarados, and my Gyarados just dies like that. So at this point, I'm like, okay, he might have a chance to beat me. But I'm going for Infernape here, and obviously he just wants to sack his Grow Time, so he switches out into that. But I decided to go for Blizzard, and Infernape basically does 3,000 plus damage more, because obviously he should have hit something, but he didn't hit anything because Blizzard took both of his mines out. But anyways, he goes into his Kingdra and his Hitmontop. At this point, I'm not even afraid, because he goes for fake out on my monster, because he knows that Blizzard could basically take out him on top. And here I just go for big close combat on his Voltage, since I know I am faster. And his Voltage, I believe, goes for, what does he go for? He goes for Substitute here. So I didn't know that. I actually expect him to be Specs, like early on. But he shows me he's Substitute, I guess. Here he goes for Second Punch here, as I just go for Blizzard, and he's able to knock both the sub out and him on top. And then that leaves me with Infernape to attack someone, and luckily I'm able to land someone this time, and it's his Kingdra dead, and he only has his Sizer left. He could go for Bullet Punch on my Infernape and take me out, but at this point he knows that I still have a couple Pokemon in the back, like Thunderous and my Hydreigon, which carries Fire Blast, as you've seen earlier on in first turn. So at this point it concludes, so GG to him. Game 1 was mine for the taking, and so we're gonna move on to round 2. Okay guys, so this is round 2. Look at my opponent team. He actually stick with the same exact team. So he was actually hoping that I would switch on my team, and I did. So I guess I took the bait. And as you can see, I have another sample team that stole. So it's so shout out to the people who made it. But anyways, Bellum, Larias, Victini, Genesect, basically taking advantage of the sand, and then Sizer. Obviously, you already know his team. So let's just start. So this time, I guess he learned from his first game that it's better off to lead off with his Kingdra and his Polito respectively, as I lead off with my Victini and my Berlin. At this point, I just really wanted to take out his Polito ASAP because I want my Sand to stay. Because as I learned from the first game, I know that having the advantage in weather just definitely could give you a huge advantage in the game. So I just want to get rid of that Polito. He knows this, so he switched out into his him on top, and at this point, him on top can intimidate both of my physical Pokemon. Well, he doesn't know that my Victini is physical, but there's a good chance I'm physical, so good on him for intimidating me. But I'm able to actually live his Muddy Water, and Muddy Water was able to do a lot to my Victini, almost nearly take me out, and do a lot to my Berlin as well. But I was able to get a Book Strike off, and I'm able to go for another Bullet Seed afterwards to his supposedly his Polito. Like I said, I really want to take him out, but I took out his Hematite, which is fine because Hematite was pretty much a threat after Intimidate, Fake Out, Sucker Punch, all that. So and Rapid Spin, so obviously a huge threat. Decided to switch out my Victini into my El Presidente, which is Torrential, because I really want to get the sand up and prevent his Muddy Warrior from doing a lot. As you will see, I go for Protect here. So luckily, I think he misses Muddy Water on my Torrential, and I Protect, and he goes for Ice Beam on my Berlin. So because of this, I was able to safely get in my Torrential for free. Here, he doesn't know where I am, so obviously he switches out, thinking I may be Scarf, whatever. I think I was Scarf, but I go for Stone Edge here and Mac Punch just to get last residual damage on his kill him. But he springs out his Sizer and Muddy Water, as you can tell, not doing enough to my Tyranitar, and my Tyranitar is able to land that Stone Edge even though my accuracy fell, so lucky for me. So Code Red is actually living up to his name, Code Red. So I set up my own Code Red, which is Chief Justice, and maybe to Protect here because I know he's gonna go for a Bullet Punch, thinking that I'm Scarf, whatever. So here he goes into Substitute, but my Sizer is just gonna get rid of that and go for U-turn. I'm a U-turn. I'm gonna bring up my Genocide right here, and I get the plus special attack here. I know he's gonna go for another Bullet Punch on my Tyranitar because he really wants to get rid of my Tyranitar so he can get the water out. I don't want my Tyranitar to die, obviously. Like I said, weather is very important. So I decided to switch on to my Chief Justice, and that Bullet Punch is still gonna do a lot. As you can see, he's Life Orb. And I went for Ice Beam on his Kingdra, thinking he's gonna stay in. Brings out his Polito, which is a great, I guess, a fair play. And then here he goes for another Bullet Punch just to take himself out. But I think that's a bad play because obviously now I double team on his Polito, and Polito actually dies, and now I have the winning Weather War. So I bring out my Tyranitar here, and there you go. Now he cannot use his Rotom to do a lot with Rain or his Swift Swim Kingdom, but he brings out the Rotom here and he brings out the Pitch Black. Here what to do? He goes for a Hydro Pump on my Genocide. That did a lot, and he's actually faster, so I'm thinking Scarf. I was able to prevent him with a Giga Drain because I had the +1 special attack, so I'm able to knock him out easily. Here he goes for his Dragon Claw with Kill him, and that's able to easily knock me out, which tells me, he must be banned or something like that. So here I bring up my Latias, and at this point, he thinks that I was going to go for his I was going to go after his Kingdra, but nope, because Pitch Black is actually more dangerous, so I decided to go for the big Draco, and I'm able to knock him out, kill him, and he protects for basically no reason because SP wasn't even enough to kill him. And at this point, I could go for another Draco after -2, and I should still be able to knock him out. So that's exactly what I do. Here he says GG, so yeah, GG, man. Good game. I was able to win both games, so 2-0, and I was able to advance to round 2. If you like this video and you want to see more of this, just so you know, I have advanced to round 3, so I have 2 more videos to show you, and they're great matches, so stay tuned for sure. Also, a quick announcement is that I have signed up for the SMOGTOUR. And that will actually be my very first official tournament aside from this one that I'm showing you right now. And I'm really looking forward to it because now I could be a part of the competitive scene and be more interactive with the people who are there. But other than that, leave this video a like if you like it, share, subscribe if you have not, and be a part of this community. Anything, guys? Anything else you guys want me to show in terms of tournaments, in terms of competitive battling, in terms of anything? Let me know in the comment section below. Give me suggestions. I'm always open to it. Other than that, thank you for watching. Thank you for staying till the end. I will see you in my next video, which will be part 2 of this series of Gen 5 OOU. Until next time, peace.